2001's Grand Theft Auto 3, Liberty City was home to several warring criminal factions, and save for the LCPD, the Mafia was almost certainly the city's largest employer. 7 years later, that's still true, but the Liberty City that you explore in Grand Theft Auto 4 is barely recognizable as the same place, and it's a lot bigger. Stepping off the boat in the shoes of illegal immigrant Niko Bellic at the start of the game, it's immediately apparent that you have an extremely long way to climb to the top, or even to make a life for yourself in the land of opportunity. The mansion that your cousin told you that you'd be living in is actually a crappy apartment. The sports cars are low-budget cabs, and the women, well, they're pretty much non-existent unless you go out at night and pay for their services, or take the time to find them on internet dating sites.
Hit me up again soon, homie. That was fun.
There are plenty of friends for you to make in the city, and they're all very useful to have. To make money and to advance GTA4's superb story, though, you need to run errands for anyone who'll pay you. Niko's skill set is somewhat limited, given that his only trade is killing. Fortunately, Liberty City is so corrupt that you'll find that there are plenty of employers looking for people just like you. As in previous games, many of the missions simply require you to deliver packages or kill targets without getting caught by the cops. There are some more interesting ones sprinkled throughout the proceedings though, like taking part in a bank heist, getting dressed up for a job interview, or stealing a truck by getting up onto its roof and trying to hold on as it races around the city.
This heroin is cursed! You don't fucking want it!
Better still are the missions in which you don't necessarily have to blindly follow orders and are given big decisions to make. These decisions are invariably life or death for someone, and the choices you make can have ramifications later in the game and even unlock bonus missions.
Stay the fuck away from me.
The vast majority of missions in GTA4 require you at some point to drive through the city to do battle with enemies on foot or both. In previous GTA games, the on-foot missions have suffered from some poor controls, but in GTA4 these have largely been addressed. Niko is a far more agile protagonist than any of his predecessors. He can climb fences and scale walls, he can shimmy along ledges, and crucially, he can take cover behind objects, in much the same way that characters in games like Gears of War and Uncharted Drake's Fortune can. This new ability makes a lot of the missions involving on-foot gunplay much easier than those in previous games, but they're still just as satisfying. Driving missions are also easier in GTA 4, not because the vehicles handle any better or because Liberty City has solved its traffic congestion problem, it hasn't, but because so few of the missions are played against the clock now. The police are also much easier to escape from now, because your on-screen radar shows you both the area that they're looking for you in and the locations of individual patrol cars and cops. So, to escape from them and lose your wanted level, all you have to do is move outside the circle, which shows the area they're looking for you in, and then steer clear of the cops outside of it for maybe 5 seconds or so. It's not a bad system, it just makes brushes with the law less challenging. And since the easiest way to escape is often to find a safe spot and just sit there for a moment, it can be a bit of an anticlimax. Grand Theft Auto 4's story mode can be beaten in under 30 hours, but there are so many distractions and opportunities to do other things that you can safely double that number if you're not in a hurry. You might take time out from your life as a reluctant hitman to take part in street races. Or to steal cars for a friend with a penchant for rides that he can't afford. You might even choose to do some police work by stealing a cop car and using its computer to locate crimes in progress or Liberty City's most wanted. There are no similar missions for ambulances or fire trucks this time around, but the police missions were always more fun than those anyway. There are plenty of opportunities for rest and relaxation in Liberty City as well. You can take in some genuinely funny acts, including some big names at cabaret and comedy clubs. You can pay for a private dance at the strip club. You can go drinking, and you get the idea. There's a lot to do. There are no hidden packages to find this time, but that's only because they've been replaced with something even better. 200 pigeons, or flying rats, in need of extermination.
That's 7 units from the garden. This is nonsense.
Interactive minigames are also a good way to take a break and make new friends. You can go 10-pin bowling, you can play pool, and you can play darts. Nico has little trouble making friends, and as you play through the story mode, you'll realize why. He's a likable guy.
Are you alright? Too much bullshark testosterone up the ass?
Fuck you!
Sure, he's a killer for hire, but he's an interesting character with a troubled past, and like all of the key characters in GTA 4, he benefits from impressive motion capture and superbly expressive facial animation.
I need to talk, guys.
You're making a big mistake, motherfucker!
Like Liberty City itself, Nico is no oil painting, but the fact that GTA 4's visuals are a little rough around the edges is easy to overlook when you consider the sheer scale of the environment that you're playing in and how much stuff is going on there. The best way to take in the sights of Liberty City, incidentally, is either to just walk around or to leave the driving to someone else. Cab rides and helicopter tours really show off the city at its best, especially if you switch to the cinematic camera option while you watch them.
For sure. Alright, listen, man. Alright, listen, me and my ice-cold friend Nico gotta borrow your car.
Perhaps the most exciting new feature of Grand Theft Auto 4 is online multiplayer. There are over a dozen different modes to choose from, including everything from death matches and car races, through to co-op missions, turf wars, and team-based cops versus crooks games. The quality of these modes varies quite considerably, but what makes them all so impressive is that you have the option to play them either in a confined area of the city or across the entire map. All of the modes offer a huge list of customization options, and if you're playing with the right group of people, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a good time with all of them. Interestingly, your score in multiplayer games is measured not in kills, but in dollars. You're rewarded money every time you kill someone, but to really reap the rewards, you need to loot their corpse. Which means it's a lot harder to win games as a sniper on a rooftop than it is if you're running and gunning down on the ground. Grand Theft Auto 4 isn't perfect. AI characters will occasionally refuse to do what they're supposed to the point that you have to restart a mission. The graphics, while impressive at a glance, don't really hold up to close scrutiny. And if you're familiar with previous GTA games, you'll find that most of the new features in this one, with the exception of the cell phone, which is great, actually don't add a whole lot to the core gameplay. With that said, Grand Theft Auto 4 is a game that you simply have to play. The storyline and the characters are superb. There are loads of weapons and vehicles to play with, and no game world has ever felt more alive than the living, breathing metropolis that is Liberty City. You will have fun playing this game.